In March 2020, the world stopped. Airplanes were grounded, cities went silent, markets collapsed in days. But while you were watching the virus, something else happened. Quietly, silently, in the background, the United States created trillions of dollars. Not billions, trillions. No vote from you, no national debate, no emergency referendum. Just a digital decision, and that decision may have permanently reshaped who wins and who loses in the American economy. So here's the question. Did America save the economy, or quietly rewrite the rules of wealth forever? To understand what happened, we need to rewind. The US economy runs on credit. Homes are bought with loans. Businesses expand with loans. Governments operate with debt. Money isn't just printed paper. It's mostly numbers on screens. And in a crisis, when fear spreads faster than facts, those numbers start disappearing. In early 2020, financial markets fell at record speed. Retirement accounts collapsed. Corporate bonds froze. Banks stopped trusting each other. It wasn't just a health crisis, it was a liquidity crisis. Think of the economy like a body. Credit is the bloodstream. And suddenly, the blood stopped flowing. So what happens when the bloodstream freezes? The central bank intervenes. The Federal Reserve doesn't print money the way most people imagine. It creates digital reserves with a keystroke. Here's how it works. The Fed buys assets, usually government bonds. In exchange, it credits banks with newly created reserves, no tax collection, no savings pool, no physical printing press, just balance sheet expansion. In 2008, during the financial crisis, this process was called quantitative easing. It was supposed to be temporary. But in 2020, it happened again, on a scale never seen before. In a matter of months, the Fed's balance sheet exploded by trillions. Trillions. Imagine injecting adrenaline directly into the financial system. Asset prices surged, stocks rebounded, real estate accelerated, tech valuations soared, liquidity had returned. But here's the part most people miss. New money does not enter the economy evenly. It flows through financial markets first. It lifts assets before wages. It inflates stocks before salaries. And that changes everything. By late 2020, markets were booming, yet millions were unemployed. Food bank lines stretched for miles. Small businesses closed permanently. But Wall Street, it recovered in record time. Why? Because asset prices are the first recipients of new liquidity. When the Fed buys bonds, yields fall. When yields fall, investors search for higher returns, so they buy stocks, they buy property, they buy risk, and asset prices rise. Now imagine two households. One owns stocks and property, the other lives paycheck to paycheck. Who benefits first? The wealth effect is powerful, but it is not equal. As trillions entered the system, wealth concentrated. The top asset holders saw net worth surge. Meanwhile, inflation quietly began rising. Not immediately, but steadily. First in assets, then in goods, then in everyday essentials. The turning point wasn't the printing, it was the aftermath. By 2022, inflation hit levels not seen in decades. Groceries cost more, rent climbed, energy surged, the purchasing power of the dollar declined, and the middle class felt it first. Here's the hidden mechanism. When money supply expands rapidly, but goods and services don't expand at the same speed, prices adjust upward. It's not immediate, it's delayed, like pressure building beneath the surface. And when it surfaces, it feels sudden. Meanwhile, those who owned appreciating assets had already gained. Stocks had rallied, real estate had surged, corporate profits had recovered, but wages lagged behind. The result? A widening wealth gap. Debt levels rose, savings eroded, cost of living debates intensified. The intervention prevented collapse, but it also restructured distribution. It protected markets, but it reshaped purchasing power. And now governments face a new dilemma: raise rates and slow inflation, or keep liquidity flowing and risk further imbalance. There are no easy choices, because once trillions are created, you can't simply delete the consequences. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Money printing during crisis is not just economic policy, it is redistribution policy, not through taxation, but through timing, through asset exposure, through proximity to capital. Some were positioned before the surge, others felt the surge later, through rising costs. Was it necessary? Perhaps. Was it neutral? No. The system survived, but it did not survive unchanged. And the next crisis will test the limits again. So tell me, did America save the economy or quietly redesign who gets rich first? Let me know in the comments.